everybody. Good afternoon to all. Happy Wednesday to you. It's an overcast day, a little bit breezy. Glad I have my jacket on. And today we're doing a Healing Through Art project, and today's project is called Intention Doodle. And what we're going to be focusing on is intentions. And let's see here. What we're going to do is I have a list of 30 or so intentions, and I'm going to post that on our site, and we are going to let's see here, can I pin that? And from those intention words, we'll make today's project. So, like I said, today's class is called Intention Doodles, and the materials you're going to need is paper. 8.5 by 11 will do just fine. I got my example here, and I'll also be using the whiteboard behind me. And so we're going to choose a word, and then we're going to make a doodle, and hopefully when you're done, you'll have something you like to put on your refrigerator. And I have an example of what we're going to be doing today. And the intention that was chosen for this one was be present. And as you can see, they chose their intention, be present, and they marked it and they wrote it on paper with a pencil, outlined it dark with a marker, and then they created doodles, and they created a truly beautiful piece of art that can probably be displayed on your refrigerator. And so why did I choose intentions? Well, why is it important to set an intention? Well, first of all, let's go over what the definition of intention is. The intention is a thing intended, an aim, or a plan. For example, she was full of good intentions. So an intention is an aim or plan. An intention is something we have when we set our goals. We set them with intention. So maybe asking yourself, why is it important to set an intention? Well, intentions provide a framework for you to set priorities, to use your time wisely, and align yourself with the resources you need to manifest your goals. The process of setting and working toward your intentions declares to yourself, others, and the universe that you are serious about your dreams and goals. So, our intentions are what help us to strive toward our goals. And like I said, I found this intentions list. It was a list of different intentions, and I thought it would be a good place to start for our, whatever we want our phrase to be on our paper. I mean, here it's be present. I chose the word authentic. Let me see if I can get it in. Yeah, I chose the word authentic. And I chose the word authentic because when I think of authentic, I think of integrity, I think of honesty. And if I want to be true to myself and others, and in the skills I want to share, the practices I want to share, if I want to be passionate, compassionate, I need to be authentic. I need to be my authentic self. I need to be authentic to myself. Some days are good, and I'm authentic to that. So I'm still gonna be the best person I can be. I'm gonna be authentic. I'm still gonna be a good role model. Some days may be great, good for me. And but I'm gonna be authentic about it, and I'm still gonna be a good role model. So, you know, to be authentic to yourself, to acknowledge. So when I went through the list of phrases and words, I chose authentic. So the words you can choose from to start your paper are less is more, self-love, grow, boss, grit, grateful, grace, be kind, create, trust, warrior, joy, enough, strength, be still, courage, breathe, resilient, explore, give, be present, confidence, worthy, forward, open, balance, listen, new, let go, surrender, authentic, and simple. And like I said, out of that list, the word that spoke to me out of that list was authentic. When I was rereading that list, a couple more kind of jumped out at me, and one of them was grateful, and another one is balance, because you got to keep things in balance. And so whatever word, hey Ernest, hey Elizabeth, whatever word speaks to you, make that your intention. That's going to be your intention doodle. So like I said, all you need is a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Write your word or words down. As you can see, I used a silly looking font that I made up. Skinny letters, different sizes, and I like it. And I'm going to outline it with a black marker here in a few seconds to make it pop. And so go ahead and let me know in the comments what word you chose, why you chose it, and I'm going to write the word authentic on the board, and we'll go from there. Okay, black marker, make it bold. H. These little skinny letters are kind of funny. I don't know what caused me to make them up, but I did. And I think it's rather amusing. And then I have a very skinny N. So there's my word authentic. That's the picture I'm going to have on the board. That's what I'm going to doodle on. And the kind of doodles I'm going to talk about specifically are Zentangles. And Zentangling is using simple lines over and over again in a pattern to make a design. And we'll go over some of those. You can see, I don't know if you can see it on here. I got a doodle started here. I can't remember what it's called, but I'll show you how we do it. And but what I did after I put my word on my paper, I'm going to outline my word right now in a black marker to make it bold and stand out. So you guys can really see it. Now, when you do your Zentangles, you can do it all in just one color. Like you can use just a black ink and just make it all black, or you can use multiple colors with color pencils or fine tip markers. It's totally up to you. And there you go. Now you can definitely see my word now that I outlined it. So there's my bold statement. That's what we're going to see around my doodle. Now what you can't see, and I'll do it on the board here so you can see it, is with a pencil, I made real light strokes or squiggles. In Zentangle, we would call them strings. And one line goes here. I have like an arch of a rainbow here. And then the triangle made its own spaces for me. And then I have squiggles here. So put various squiggles around your paper to make areas that you can create different patterns in. So, and they can be any shape you want. You know, the strings you use are entirely up to you. So I'll give you an example of how I make a string. We'll use the purple skinny marker. So let's say I make a arc through here. And then I make another arc through here. And I squiggle through here. And they can be squiggles, they can be diagonals, you know, just lines that go through your page to break up the page and to break up where you're going to put different patterns. So there we go. That looks pretty good. So like I said, just do that in a light colored pencil so it's not really seen unless you want it to be seen. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fill it in with doodles. So like on the sample page, where'd my sample page go? Where'd my sample page go? Here it is. Like on my sample page, you see that they have big shapes and outlines. And so make, you know, how they have the circle here. You know, so make some big shapes so that you can put different patterns inside those shapes. You know, but like, you know, you don't have to make them dark if you want to make them a light color. So you just have a something to guide you for those shapes. That's more than that's a good way to do it. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go over different doodles, and the first doodle I'm going to show you is called Kieko, and it's right here. And for Kieko, you use three lines, vertical and horizontal, with a slight arc on them, and it makes this pattern that you see here. But you start out with 4 lines, and then you make vertical, and then you make 3 lines horizontal, 4 lines vertical, 3 lines horizontal, and you keep filling that in then you go to the third block here, and what you end up with is this fourth block right here. And I think it's a really pretty design. And it's a simple one to do. And I started it on my page. I made a string. You can see the shape of my string. I got the little squiggles there. And I was filling it in with Kieko lines. And let me outline the lines I've done so you can see it better on my paper. So, 3 lines vertical, 3 lines horizontal, and you just keep repeating the pattern. And it makes a really pretty pattern on your page. And I'll show you what I did here in a second. How it's looking, because I did it in pencil. I'm just tracing over it right now. So as you can see here, I'm tracing the ones I'm tracing over. I like that pattern. I like it a lot. So I'm going to trace over it and make it colorful. And then as you can see on my A, I don't know if you can tell that or not, but on my A, I started with lines and I kept repeating those lines. And what I wanted to do on those repeated lines is just make the lines different colors, make each individual line a different color with a colored pen, colored pencil. And then I was going to color in the space between a line or two. Like, let's see here. I'll probably color in on this one, make it solid. I'll make that my solid between 2 lines. And then I'm just going to take pencil and outline the lines I drew for my doodle. And there is no right way or wrong way to do Zentangle or doodle. It's best if it's done intuitively. It's just fun. So let me use the colored pencils and trace the lines I drew on my A so you can see more of what I'm talking about, how I colored in the lines on my A. And now I'm just going to have more color. But so what phrases are you choosing for your intention page? And how's it going to help you? To say the intention of authentic, being authentic is going to help me. I have a goal that I haven't really set it in stone yet, but it's one that I am thinking about starting. And I had, over the past year and a half, I lost about 40 pounds, but unfortunately I have gained most of that weight back, and I would like to lose that weight again. So if I'm being authentic with myself, which I hope I am, which is going to make me be able to do this goal, if I'm being authentic with myself and realizing I don't like that I did gain this weight, if I'm being authentic with myself, realizing that I have a year to accomplish my goal, and I can start now and start small and keep doing it in small steps, that I can get to my goal in a year from now. Hopefully I will have dropped between 30 to 40 pounds. So as you can see, I did my A, and you can see that I have, I colored the space between lines with the purple, and then I just have the lines. On below my A, what I did is I created, I just call them squiggles. I was just making squiggles, but in between the squiggles, I made spaces. And it looks like different strings laid down on my A. And I'll show you how I made those. First of all, let me show you the Kieko on the board. So when you make the Kieko pattern on the board, ouch, it's vertical and then horizontal. Vertical, horizontal. Vertical, horizontal. And then underneath the vertical, we go horizontal. And you just keep making the pattern over and over until you fill in your little space. Now, like I was saying, on the A, I just drew lines. I just drew repeating lines, and then I colored in space between the lines on one, just because I wanted to give it a different look. So I have filled in space, I have blank space. And then, of course, you can choose to make different colors of lines to give it as much color as you want. Put in some orange. And all I'm doing is repeating the same lines over and over. Nothing fancy, nothing. And that's why I got the color in my A. I like it. It makes a neat pattern. Then another design, another Zentangle you can do is called cross stitch. I don't know if you can see that. Wait up. There it is, cross stitch. And when you do cross stitch, you just make a line of X's, and then you make another line on top of that. And what you end up with is just X's filling across the page in a linear pattern. Here they have them in a diagonal pattern. So that's cross stitch. And where shall we cross stitch? Let's cross stitch this space over here, and I will use green. So we're going to use some cross stitch, and we're going to and I tend to draw my next, my X's, I tend to space apart so that they just, like you're making a zigzag, but there's a break in between. So, I just, and then, so I made a cross stitch. Cross stitch is part of my doodle. And let's just finish it up. And then, so, you can use cross stitch. And just keep on going. But you just keep bringing the pattern up and until you filled in the squiggle, until you filled in the string you made. So there I filled in that string. I filled in the string beside my A, and I filled that in using the cross stitch. Up here, once again, this one's called Kieko, and you go vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, and vertical, and then underneath the vertical you would go horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, and you just keep repeating the pattern. And you know, it makes a pretty pattern. So you just choose different patterns to make throughout. Now, another one I'm going to show you is called Flukes. And that's this one right here. And for Flukes, you start out with making X's in a diamond. It ended up being a diamond pattern. And then they made 3 triangles on a diamond, and they filled in the center one. So what you do is, okay, let's make our X. And then a diamond. Okay, and inside that, I'm going to make more triangles, and I color in this triangle. So I make, and I color in this triangle. So that's called Flukes. So I would carry that out. And you carry that out, and that would make that kind of a pattern. So once again, using Flukes, it'll make this kind of a pattern. And you start off with making an X across your page, and you make a diamond within that, and then you make triangles, and then you fill in the center triangle, and you get this. This is what your pattern looks like. That's Flukes. And as you can see, we used it for part of our authentic. The next one, let's see here. The next one I used, and I used on this page, is, what's it called? There we go. This one's called, well, actually, what I did is a theme and variation on waves. This one is called waves. And what you do for waves is you make your squiggle, and you make two squiggles go together, and then you draw, and there's your second squiggle. Then you draw lines in between your squiggles. And you draw lines on the outside of your squiggles. So you start off with a simple squiggle, and then a matching one. You draw the lines in between your squiggle, and then you draw the lines outside your squiggle. Now, I kind of did a theme and variation on that, and I made my squiggles on my A, can't really see, and then I drew my lines on the inside of my squiggles. So I can draw lines on the outside of my squiggles and finish it. Let me go over this with a pencil so you can see more what I'm talking about. So I made my squiggles. And the other thing I love about Zentangle is it's not science. You can be, it doesn't have to be exact. You know, it doesn't have to look, I can't think of the word I'm thinking for, but you know, you can be free with it. And because you're allowed to be free with it, it works. So here's my squiggles for the bottom of my A. And then what I did is in between squiggles, I just put lines. I just put two lines. So then I added these lines to give my squiggles more character, something else to look at. And if I wanted to make it have even more character, I can put waves in between the squiggles. So I'll start with another color. And we'll choose this magenta color. And I will, the pencil wants to break, no. And all I'm doing is putting arcs between the lines. I didn't put the spaces in. And all I added was these arcs in between the lines. And you see how it changed the pattern up. So all I'm doing is making simple lines to make a pattern. And this is just a theme and variation on waves. And like I said, when you see waves in here, they made a squiggle, and then two squiggles, and then they arced lines between them. So let me use it up here on the board and show you exactly how this one works on the board. Oh, what color shall we use? We will use red. And we will put waves right here. So our first squiggle will go like that, followed with another one. Okay, there's squiggle one. And squiggle two, we'll put down here. And its mate will go right here. Okay, so we got our two squiggles. And now we're going to add these lines in between the squiggles, and then we'll end up with this. And we'll add more lines on the outside. So I'll keep using red. And we're going to go. And then we'll have them S out this way. So as you can see, I made a pattern with waves here, and that's what it looks like. And if I want to, I could color in every other one. So yeah, you can do whatever you want to these. So that one's called waves. Now another one I like, another tangle I like is called, what's this one called? I don't have a name for this tangle. But this tangle, what you do is you make arcing lines, and then you come up through it, and then inside each space you add a square spiral, and you get this as your result. So you start out on your space making arcs like you would for a circle, then come through with straight lines, and inside each square you made, then you're going to make a spiral square on the inside. So for that part of my design, we will choose to put it, let's see here, what color am I going to use? We'll use purple. Okay. So we got, we'll put it through here. So let's, and we're going to put the lines through. Okay, as you can see, I'm left with squares up here. Inside each square, and I'll do that in red. And inside each square, I'm going to put a square spiral. I'm going to start making square, and I'm just going to spiral it. And then starting my next one. Just keep making a square. Just keep making your spiral until it fits in the square. We go on to our next square spiral. I really like this pattern. Then we do our next one. And like I said, my intention word is authentic. And what does authentic mean to me? Authentic means true to yourself. Authentic means integrity. Authentic means, hopefully if you're authentic, you're honest. So that's my intention word. And that's what I have here. As you can see, we can still see the word authentic. And you can see how it's coming together in a really neat pattern. And so it's just like on my demo piece. You got it where they got be present and they wrote it in pencil, outlined it in marker, and then made their doodles. So I hope those doodles I showed you, the crisscross, the wave, the Kieko, I hope those are all doodles that help you to decide how to design your intention doodle. And I hope everybody enjoyed this project. Another neat way to, hey, Ducky, another neat way to do this project is to, if you use crayon for your word and then you do all your designing in crayon and then use watercolors, it will make a really neat relief. It'll look really cool. So another way you might want to do it is to use crayon, and then after you use your crayon, go over it in watercolor, because the crayon resists the watercolor, and that would be so cool. So that's Healing Through Art in a nutshell this week. Choose your intention word. And like I said, I have 30 words pinned to the top of phrases and words to set for your intention. And when you're done making your decoration, proudly display that on your refrigerator. Proudly put it there and look at it every day so you can see, what your intention is. And so it can give you a satisfaction and, realize that you have worth, value, and goals, and you're moving forward. So, intentions are powerful, and I hope you use it, and I hope you got something out of it. Thank you. See you again next week. Next week, I am going to try and teach you to do a little bit of origami. And I have learned how to do origami boxes and an origami butterfly. So hopefully I can teach that to you guys via Facebook Live, and we'll go from there. Have a good week, you guys. Bye.